all, and I do mean afternoon. It's pretty late in the afternoon. Okay, here's the plan for today. Today we're gonna, well, here we go with the story thing again. The reason we're here today is the last couple of days I hadn't felt too good. I don't know if I was coming down with something or if I poisoned myself with my cooking, but today I feel good. So today is technically a test run for tomorrow, because tomorrow I want to head up in the mountains. Today we're down at the local river. I'm 5 miles from the house, and I thought, good quick drive, quarter mile walk, good test, see how I feel when I get home, and that'll tell me if I can go up in the hills to play tomorrow. Okay, what we're going to do today is just go down and do something I don't do very often, and that's look for gold on a gravel bar. So let's head down to the creek and look for some gold on a gravel bar. Well, we made it down to the river. Now this section of river we're on is where, I don't know how well you can see, but the river's making a slight bend, and we're on a big long gravel bar here. Now this section of river, for miles both way, was dredged from like 1900 to 1907, somewhere in there. They pretty much dredged everything with big bucket dredges. But there's still gold here, and especially after a big storm, when it stirs things up, you can find nice little pockets of gold. Not a bunch, but we're 5 miles from the house. How can you complain? What we need to do now is try to figure out the area that has our best possibilities of finding gold. Now we know, gold is laid in there by the flow and obstacles in the river. Well, this section of river, there is no obstacles. The only obstacle is the river, the bends in the river. So being on the inside of a turn, naturally there's going to be a gravel bar buildup. On the outside of the turn, it's washed right up to the bank. So we know our best possibilities are on this side where we got the gravel building up. Now we got to look at the gravel bar itself to find the best areas. We want to stay away from sand, because if there's just sand there, there's not enough flow to move the gold in. If there's big cobbles and no gravel to say, well, then there's too much flow for the real fine gold. Now we're looking for fine gold because that's what's going to be here. There's going to be very little other than real fine gold, 20 mesh or so. Okay, well, let's take a walk up here and see if we can find something. I've been walking up towards the head of this gravel bar, and I've noticed that the rocks, they've gone from real small rocks. In the center of the gravel bar, there was a lot of sand. There was actually a little bit of mud on top. And now we're getting back in. We came back into where the gravel was about the same as the tail. Now we're getting into an area that the rocks are getting a little larger. This is about as big as we're going to find down here. Maybe a little bit bigger. But there's more gravel here, less sand than there was down there. So that's kind of what we're looking for, the overall look. Now we're going to head on up a little more. Look, what we're looking for is where the rocks end and the gravel begins. That's our sweet spot. Now I don't know how well this is showing it, but on this side we have a lot more heavy gravel, rocks and such. And then you get over here and we start getting smaller gravel. And the vegetation is also a good indication. you'll notice there's a lot more vegetation over here than over here because there's more for the roots to get into on this side because everything's smaller. So this line is where we're going to be looking, because this is where our two flows change. Now we're going to take a couple samples out over here. We'll take one on the line. We'll take one in the middle or in the light stuff and just see which one produces more gold. This spot here, you can tell, has a lot of larger boulders, and I kind of like the looks of this spot. This is in the heavier flow area, but the rocks aren't too large. Now there's one over here, it's pretty good size, but still I like the looks of this area. So we're gonna take our first sample here, and I'm thinking I probably should have brought my classifier. On this river, since this river was dredged with the old bucket dredges, the only gold we're going to find is gold that is washed in since. So the majority of your gold is just, it's flood gold. So it's going to be in the top foot or so is where most of it's going to accumulate, because that's where you get most of your turnover during the winter season. It takes a huge flood to turn everything over. Well, the river is now controlled by a dam, so we don't get those huge floods like we used to. So you're pretty much limited to the first foot or so as far as finding gold. Okay, well, I'm going to take this down to the river here. I'm wishing I'd picked a spot a little closer to the river. Okay, well, I'm going to take this down and pan it. I'll be back in a few. Well, the hardest part about that trip was finding water deep enough to pan in. But got her panned out, and we do have a few pieces of gold in here. And for here, these are pretty large pieces. Let me show you. You can see right there, we got 3 pieces there. And for here, those are large pieces. Okay, now the interesting thing about this is there is no real fine gold in here, which tells us that there's a significant flow here. Okay, we're going to move over a little bit, get into the area that's got a little smaller gravel, and give that a try. See if we can find more gold weight-wise. We got to figure out if we'll do better finding a couple of large pieces in each pan or a bunch of small ones in each pan. And we got to kind of judge that, and that'll be the area you want to go. Okay, let's do another sample. I'm going to clean these up. Now this sample we're going to take right on this is the edge of the higher flow. This is a lower flow. There's still a few big rocks in here, but there's a lot more smaller. So we're right on the divide of the two. So we'll take a sample out of this. Okay, got our second pan. I'll be right back. Our second pan has gold in it, just as expected. Not as large a pieces as the first pan, but not quite as many as I expected. Let me show you. Okay, right there you can see we got 3 small pieces, and they're pretty small. Okay, I'm going to suck these up the snuffer bottle. Then we're going to head out into the small gravel and take a sample there. Okay, now you can see this area right in here. It's got a lot of dirt, very little large rock at all. So we'll take a sample out of here, pan it out, and let's see how we do. Nothing. I can't see a thing in here. There's There may be some super fine stuff up in here, but with my eyes, without my glasses, I can't tell. But if it's in there, it's pretty small. So basing off of what we found in our 3 test pans, I'm thinking over there in the heavy flow is our best spot for finding gold. Now, it's getting really late in the day, so I'm going to jump over this big old boulder over here, and I'm just dying to roll that boulder over and check under it. So we're going to take a couple more test pans over there real quick and see how we do. Okay, now we're back over in the where the large gravel is, and you can see here we got some nice rocks that are kind of laid in here, almost look like riffles. So we're going to take an area out of here and an area out of here behind these 2 natural riffles and see if anything's dropped in here. Well, we got a span of gravel here, and I don't know if the shadows are showing it, but it's getting late. So this is going to be our last span of gravel, so here's hoping. I'll be right back. Well, as far as number of pieces, this is our best pan. I'm not sure about weight because they're pretty small. Let me show you. Okay, right here you can see still small pieces, but quite a few of them. Well, I'm going to clean these up, pack my gear up, and head back to the truck because it's late. Need to get back to the house, and we got a heck of a drive to get home. It's probably, I'm guessing, 5 to 7 minutes to get home. So we got to get an early start on that. So I'll see you back at the house. Well, we're back at the house. Full day. It's the same day. Now that was a pretty cool trip because you would not believe the wildlife out there today. And I did, in addition to everything else, I did see a coyote, but I was not quick enough to get them on film. And this is one of the few videos where I'm actually, I actually put up where I went. Not because of the gold. Trust me, the gold isn't that good. But just if you're close by to just take a drive through there, it's a beautiful area. It really is. Okay, well, what do you say we weigh that gold? I got it cleaned up. That didn't take long because there's not much gold. Now, I don't know if there's enough gold to weigh, but we'll find out. We're going to weigh this in grains, see if she moves. 0.08, I'll be darned, she moved. Well, I can't believe we actually made the scale move. And 0.8, that's not a lot of gold, but the scale did move. Now, like I was saying earlier, I figured that place would be a good test run. I actually got the idea from Jeff. He did a video out there not too long ago, and I probably should have called Jeff, see if he wanted to go out with me. Okay, well anyway, if tomorrow I feel good, we're going to be heading to the high country. And so far, this winter has been pretty lax as far as the snow and rain goes. It looks like it's going to be a really good year for gold mining. Now, we're all going to die in California because we're not going to have any water, but it's worth it if it's a good year for the prospecting. Okay, well, I got to get out in the kitchen and get some dinner going because it's getting late. So I'm out of here. You guys have a wonderful day.